What up, everybody? This is episode 2 of the Positionless podcast. I'm Sean,
I'm Jack.
and we're going to be ranking the predicting the Western Conference standings for the upcoming season. We'll start off with the quiz you gave me.
Before we start, I do want to say we did just create a TikTok account.
We did? Okay.
So I'll put the link in the description. It's just Positionless Podcast.
Let's go.
We're going to be posting shorts there, maybe some exclusive content.
Yeah.
We'll see. So
let's get it.
Let's get started. Today I have for you the most impactful offseason moves. This was an article from CBS Sports. I just want you to guess what the top 5 most impactful offseason moves were. Some of them are going to be easy, obviously.
Yeah.
Some of them I think you'll have to think a little bit. So,
all right.
Let's see if you can guess the top 5 offseason moves by CBS Sports.
Sounds good. Number 1, definitely Paul George.
Paul George is there. He was ranked number 2 on their list, but obviously he's on the list. Yes.
I'm gonna guess DeMar's up there for the Kings.
DeMar did not make the list.
Damn. Okay.
I was a little surprised too.
So if number 1's not Paul George, trying to think of who another big is it a big free agent? Or was it a free agent or
they're just off-season moves. They don't have to be free agent signing.
Damn, I'm about to be
some of them
looking like a fool right now. It's not. Is it Isaiah Hartenstein?
Isaiah Hartenstein and Caruso, they're grouped together.
Caruso,
they're number 3.
Okay.
So I grouped them together for this ranking because they both went to the Thunder. Both great signings for them.
Okay.
I think you're
Mikal
forgetting.
Bridges?
He is number 1.
Okay.
With the re-signing of OG Anunoby.
Yep.
They ranked that number 1.
So I got 1, 2, 3.
So you have 4 and 5.
4 and 5 left over. Let me see.
Number 4 is one you should definitely get. A big upgrade to this team.
Big upgrade.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about them today. It's going to be interesting to see where you have this team.
Klay Thompson.
No.
No?
He did not make the list.
What the fuck? I didn't think he was an upgrade, but I'm trying to think of Western Conference teams.
I think he should have been at least number 5.
It's not Denver. It's not.
Because I think Klay was an upgrade, but not as big as this guy to this team, I would say.
Okay.
He comes in and is automatically at least their third best player.
I got to look at these Western Conference teams real quick. Hold up.
I am going to be interested to see where you have this team because they are such a good team. But once again, we are talking about the Western Conference.
DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Great signing. Great trade for them. That's number 4. Number 5.
I love that for them,
Number
too.
5, it's kind of a trick one. They didn't really make a move. It's more of just a re-signing.
Okay. Re-signing. There's so many players that could be.
But people didn't think that this might happen. There were questions about this team's future and if this player was going to re-sign, and he re-signed a max extension.
I mean, that could have been like Franz.
It's not one of the rookie guys that you knew were gonna stay. This guy's future wasn't questioned until this signing. It's in the East. You don't love this team.
I don't love this team in the East. Fuck. I feel like I know, but I cannot put my finger.
One of the best players in the Eastern Conference.
Like, I know it's not Jimmy Butler.
No, he didn't re-sign.
He didn't re-sign. It was just a question of whether he's going to get traded. Of course, he still can. I don't know. I'm not getting this one. It's not coming.
You want me to give it to you?
Yeah.
It was the re-signing of Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs, the max extension.
I forgot he actually signed this season.
No one was sure if he was going to re-sign.
That's true. I mean, I was kind of sure. Not that I was sure of it, but I didn't think they were going to.
You didn't think they were going to pull the trigger and trade him? I didn't think they were going to
split up. No, I like Donovan Mitchell with the Cavs.
I do too. I think the question was, does Donovan Mitchell want to be there?
Like the Cavs, yeah. I think he does.
I mean, I don't think he'd get in a better situation than he is now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I love that situation for him, honestly. It's like his own team. He's got a great building blocks around him to succeed.
Yep.
I think next few years we might be seeing them as contenders, depending on what.
It's going to depend what their front office does.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. You want to get into our predictions?
Yeah, let's get into our
All right.
Western Conference rankings. I'll start at 15.
Yeah.
I have the Utah Jazz.
Okay. I have the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers. Okay, I mean, I had them 14.
It could have went either way with those two.
They're not very good. The Jazz. They have marketing. They have Keontae George. Just gonna see what I'm excited to see his sophomore season.
I think
Colin Sexton's still pretty good.
That's I think why I have them at 14, the Jazz, because they got Lauri Markkanen solidified with that extension. He's there for another 5 years now.
Yeah.
I like Colin Sexton as a player. I'm a big fan of Keontae George. I think he's gonna look great. Not great, but he didn't look fantastic his rookie year as a rookie guard. I mean, they never do, but they don't always come in looking great. But I think he's going to be a big piece for them moving forward. But the reason I have the Trailblazers at 15 is because it's a log jam at every position. It's a log jam at every position except for probably the forwards, where they have Grant and Avdia. But you got 3 centers after they drafted Klingon, right? They still have DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, they have Klingon.
They do have Klingon, yes.
They drafted DeAndre, not drafted. They have DeAndre Ayton. They have Robert Williams still, and Donovan Klingon. All 3 of those guys are centers.
Weird rotation.
They're all centers. None of them are playing 4.
No.
How are you going to get all of them minutes? Because they're all talented and they all deserve run. I don't understand how you're doing that rotation. And then you have that logjam with the guards with Scoot and Simon and Shaden Sharp. They moved off Brogdon finally. But I think it's just more people know their roles in Utah. They know what they're going out there to do. Trailblazers are like
they are a little bit more of a mess.
Yeah, it's a complete mess of a roster.
They definitely have to trade Robert Williams.
I didn't even write notes for these two because they're ass. I mean,
yeah. I think they definitely have to trade Robert Williams.
Robert Williams instead of Ayton?
I mean, both of them if you can, but
of course if you can.
I don't who's going to take Ayton's money.
Yeah, on that max.
But I really like Simons. I think Scoot's going to have a much better sophomore year because obviously he was hurt somewhat last year. He didn't look good at all, to be honest.
I mean, I would love to see Scoot have a better year.
He's probably going to start the year off slow, but I do believe he's going to have a good sophomore year.
I'm a Shaden Sharp guy.
Shaden Sharp. I like Shaden Sharp as well.
He's got a bag. He's got a bag and that athleticism. I'd love to see him.
He's got to put it all together.
He's got to put it together. It's
going to be tough to do it in Portland, though, with this roster around him. I mean,
I think he's someone who can play some 3.
He's athletic enough. He's long enough.
Yeah, he's lengthy as hell. Was he 6'6", 6'5"?
Yeah.
He can play some forward, some wing. But I don't think they have a well put together roster. So that's why I have them at 15 and the Jazz at 14.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that.
You want to move on to our 13s?
13, I have the San Antonio Spurs.
That's where I have them as well. I wanted to put them higher so bad.
So did I, but at the end of the day, they have Wembanyama. I like the Chris Paul move. Like, he's going to help develop all the young guys, especially Wemby, of course. He's going to get him the ball when he needs it the most.
Mm-hmm.
They still do have Vassell. I love Vassell. I think he's perfect with that team.
I think Vassell's going to have a great year it's like his first year with a real point guard.
Yeah. Not Jeremy Sohan out there.
And I think Sohan's going to thrive playing his real position. I'm a big Sohan guy. I think he can do everything for you on the court.
I like him.
He's a great defender. He gets after the ball. He gets after everything out there. I mean, he's a hustler. He
can kind of be that Draymond role.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like we put so many people in that like topic of they can be like a Draymond for their team.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who can really go out there and absolutely give it 100% on both sides of the ball and impact it significantly. So I'm big on Sohan, big on Vassell having great years. But I can't put him any higher.
I can't put him any higher either. And
of course, we know Wemby's him.
He's going to have a crazy year. But I couldn't put them above my 12 team. And I think we might have the same team right here.
Who you got?
I have the Clippers.
I have the Clippers too.
The Clippers are a really good team still. Like, I guess you can say that they made some good offseason signings. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr., I guess.
I like DJJ.
Kawhi is still Kawhi. He's a question mark, of course, but he's still Kawhi if he's healthy. Harden, still Harden. Still have Powell, Zubac. I mean, they got a solid roster.
Yeah,
but
there's no depth though
in this Western Conference.
The thing with the Clippers for me, I don't think, and it's crazy to predict injury, but I don't think that Harden or Kawhi are going to be playing more than 60 games. Like,
really,
one of them's going to be out the majority of the season.
Harden's typically healthy.
Yeah, but we've seen him on teams that suck before, and then he gets fat and doesn't want to play. And
he's going to request a trade again?
No, I hope not. But they just have an abysmal big man rotation. You got, what is it, Zubac and nobody else.
Zubac, what do they have? Daniel Tice still, maybe?
No, they don't.
They don't?
No,
oh, no.
I'm pretty sure Tice is back on the Celtics, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I was looking up their roster the other day.
It's not a very good backup big anyway.
They don't have another center on the roster.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, I do think Kevin Porter Jr., he did sign there. Obviously,
it's a good backup point guard.
All that stuff,
of course,
go on with him. But when he was playing for the Rockets, he's a good basketball player. He averaged like 19, 6, and 6 coming off the bench for us.
I do think he's a great sixth man. Just his role, just come off the bench, score, handle the ball. I think
he's a great sixth man as well. I'm not excited to watch him play basketball again, but I was a fan of him before, everything came out about him, whether it be true or not. I think DJJ and Chris Dunn are going to shine on defense. They're both going to get a lot of run for them, I think. But again, I can't put them any higher just because no depth whatsoever, except for like Chris Dunn and KPJ. But those are both guards. And you already have Norman Powell and James Harden out there.
Yeah, and obviously the question with Kawhi's health.
It's always a question with the whole Olympic thing, too.
So I couldn't put them any higher. I want to hear your 11. Who do you have?
My 11, I have the Phoenix Suns.
It's
one of those teams that
Phoenix
I see
Suns?
exactly as the Clippers.
The Phoenix Suns. Wow.
Hear me out.
Wow.
Another absolutely atrocious big man rotation. Let me read you this big man rotation.
That one caught me off guard right there.
So you got Nurkic, Bol, Mason Plumlee, and Udoka Azubuike. That fucking big man rotation is ass.
I mean, Nurkic and Plumlee off the bench, it could be worse.
It could be worse, but only the Clippers. Only the Clippers are worse in the league, in my opinion. I obviously still have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but they're going to be relying on guys like Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal or Ryan Dunn or Josh Okogie. They're going to be relying on all four of those guys, possibly on a nightly basis. And you got to remember,
do you think they're going to be relying on those guys?
I do.
How much though?
I mean, you need somebody else to hit shots besides KD and Book and Beal's ass.
Well, that's a question for them. What is their starting lineup going to be?
In my opinion, it's got to be Tyus. Tyus has got to be starting at the 1. Give me D-Book at the 2. Throw Grayson Allen or Okogie or Royce O'Neal out there at the 3, and then you got KD and Nurkic. But listen to what's coming off the bench if you do that.
Monte Morris.
They do have Monte Morris, but he has not been the same since he left the Nuggets.
Still a good backup point guard, I'd say. I mean, he played for the Wizards last year, did he?
I think that might have been 2 years ago.
Well, I don't know, but I think for a team that's trying to contend, he's a good backup point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's all right.
And then if you bring Beal off the bench, which I think they should do.
They should, no doubt.
I think in that way, everyone would know their role.
But listen to the rest of that bench. Listen to the rest of that bench. So you got Monte Morris, Bradley Beal. Say you're starting Grayson Allen. You got Josh Okogie or Royce O'Neal. Then Bol and Plumlee.
Yeah, their bench isn't the greatest.
It's
their backup forwards.
Terrible.
Their backup forwards and their big men.
Ass.
KD's going to have to play in a lot of minutes, but
yeah.
At 11.
At 11.
You realize they almost won 50 games last year in a tough Western Conference.
They did, but I think a lot of teams got better.
And you think they're going to fall out to missing the play-in?
Yeah.
Wow,
You'll
okay.
hear the rest of my teams.
At 11, I've got the Houston Rockets.
Bugging.
I just don't think they're better than any team that's above them. I mean, they're still a very young team. We're yet to see if Şengün and Jalen Green can play together and complement each other the way that you wish they could.
Yeah.
Because we saw when Sengun was playing, that guy's a beast. He's like your best player. But when he went out, we saw what Jalen Green can do as your best player.
28.
The last month of the season
carried us to 11 straight wins.
And almost into the play-in.
Oh, yeah. And that was without Sengun. So
that's kind of like both our points, though, because can they coexist? They have so many people that they have to play as well. I mean, they've got a stacked roster. What's going to be their starting lineup? It's going to be Fred, Jalen, but you still have Reed Shepard and Amen Thompson off the bench.
Yep.
You still have Cam Whitmore with Dylan Brooks.
Hey,
I mean, you guys have a very, very deep, very young roster. I just don't think this season is the season that you guys are going to put it together and make a playoff push, you know? I still like the veteran teams.
Speaking of that rotation, I went into 2K.
Yeah.
And I started just, you know how you can do the rotation builder?
Yeah.
Started going in there, seeing how some of these minutes are going to play out. I think we can get everybody minutes. Like, I think Reed Shepard can play 20 minutes a game and still get Freddie 28 and still get Amen 20 to 28. Jalen Green, I don't want him playing 36 minutes a game. Like, he's not that kind of guy.
36, but like at least 32, at least.
Yeah, I think he can do that as well. But let me get into this Rockets tangent because I got him at 10. Okay. I got a lot of notes here for him, man. And why I have him at 10.
Over the Suns, I think it's very much biased, but
this is a
you do yourself.
Hungry, young, talented, competitive dogs, dude. This is a group of dogs.
I know you love the Rockets.
Hoping that Jalen Green can look somewhat like himself in March of last year. I'm not expecting another tear like that. He's not always consistent, but I definitely think he can come out and average 22 for us in like a good 30 to 32 minutes. He's just going to be a scorer for us.
The efficiency is going to be the question.
Yes, but he does get in that stance now defensively. He tries his ass off on defense, and I think he's going to continue doing that going into next year. Sengun bulked up. If you haven't seen pictures of him in this offseason, dude is yoked. He's absolutely ripped now. He's only going to get better in that post. He's a beast in the post already. He needs to take those open threes. You know how many times I've seen him last year catch something at the top of the key, catch the ball at the top of the key wide open, and he just hesitates.
Likes to do that little pump fake, jab, step.
Exactly. He needs to just shoot those because he can and make them. Yeah. I mean, if he just shoots the ball at like a 30% clip on 4 attempts a game, that's opening up so much for our offense because they're not respecting him from there yet. If he takes those shots, I think he can gain some respect, open up the offense. Then he can pump fake, jab, step, and get into the lane because he can handle that thing. I mean, I've seen him do it so many times where he does pump fake, jab, step, behind the back to the lay. Mm-hmm. It's nice, but
very talented big man.
If he takes that 3, it's only going to open up his game so much more. It's going to open up so much more for the rest of the offense. I'm expecting him to average like 7 assists a game next year because
he's got the talent around him.
He does have the talent around him. I think we have some more shooters around him this year. Speaking of shooters, Reed Shepard, I think he's going to be uber efficient in his rookie season because he's not going to get so many minutes, but he's going to have people like Sengun and Amen and Freddie get him in the ball with perfect timing. And he can shoot that pill from deep, from mid-range. He can catch you off the dribble too. I've seen him do it.
The Rockets are one of those teams where they're going to they have some stuff to figure out within the next year or two.
I think Amen's going to be more of a wing.
Who's going to be on their roster?
I mean, Fred's gone after this year. We've got a team option for like $40 million. I don't think we're going to accept that because of the talent that we have at that position. Mm-hmm. I think Amen's going to be more of a wing for us. Dylan Brooks is still under contract for like another 3 seasons, though. I mean, it is like a depreciating deal, so maybe we can dangle him as trade bait.
I still like him as your starter over Whitmore right now, though.
Dylan Brooks?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think
Whitmore's still very raw.
He's still very raw, but dude, last year...
And he's got to learn how to swing the ball a little bit. He's got MPJ syndrome. If he's catching that, he's shooting it.
Do yourself a favor and look at his per 36.
No,
he's
I know
per 36 ain't crazy, but like it don't mean that much. But in like 13, maybe not 13, maybe it was like 18 minutes a game, he was averaging like 12 points on 40, 45, and 40 It was ridiculous efficiency.
He's a great scorer.
Even as a shot chucker. But hoping Cam can find some more run in this stacked roster. And I just think the reason I have them at 10 is because Ime Udoka.
He's a great coach.
Culture he brings. I know for a fact right now they're competing internally for these spots, for these minutes that we're talking about. And that just breeds so much more desire to win, knowing that you're competing for every minute that you're competing for every minute that you're getting, and you have to earn it. That's what I love about Ime and why I think the Rockets are going to be the 10 seed this year.
Obviously, that brings a winning culture. At 10, I've got the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, I'm a little bit higher on them.
Obviously, they have Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can lead the league in points this year, possibly, or at least be top 5, depending on how many minutes he gets. But they're going to need him to if they're going to be a playoff team. I have them barely in the playoffs. Obviously, they lost Klay Thompson. They brought in Buddy Hield. Pajemski's going to get better.
Yep.
Who else did they bring in? D'Anthony Melton. That's a decent signing for him. Yeah, so they brought in some decent quality role players. We'll see how they can fit into their system. But at the end of the day, I really like Trace Jackson Davis on their team. I like that. The lob athletic. He's better than James Wiseman was ever for them already.
He fits in with what they're doing with the small center.
Mm-hmm. So I just couldn't put them any higher than 10. Obviously, they have Steph Curry. They've got the culture. They've got the system. But their system is complicated. It's going to take time for those guys to learn. Obviously, Buddy Hield's a great shooter, but is he going to know where to go? Is he cut this way, screen for Curry, come this way? It's going to take some time. So
facts.
I like their team, but that's why I have them at 10.
Okay.
And you have the Rockets at 10?
Yeah. Do you want to start off your 9?
I'll start off my 9. I've got the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
I like their team. They finished 9th last year. I mean, you have Fox, Sabonis. They brought in DeMar. DeMar is going to he's the big X factor, I guess, because he did bring him in, but how many wins is he really going to add? That's the question.
I'll talk about the Kings when I get to them,
but
because I got them higher.
Obviously, DeMar, he can get buckets. I guess he's a clutch player, but you already have Fox. I mean, who's taking the shots in the last minute? It's probably going to be Fox.
Yeah,
DeMar.
I mean, they're
spacing who's going to be. Yeah, exactly. But they're spacing though with DeMar out there. Who's it going to be? Fox, Herter, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis. That's a good 5. That's a great 5. With Monk off the bench, it's a great team. But
you think Monk's coming off the bench again?
Yeah,
he could. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was basically the 6th man of the year last year, but Naz Reid won it. But they were both 1A, 1B.
Close runner up. Yeah.
They've got a great team. I'm talking myself into putting them higher, but at the same time,
I've got them a bit higher.
I don't think they're as good as the other teams above them. I mean, this is going to be a very competitive Western Conference. Who do you have at 9?
9, I have the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
Don't hate the roster, but they got to count on some younger guys like Max Christie and Dalton Connect to hit shots for them.
Bronny James.
Bronny James is not getting minutes. And I mean, Rui Hachimura, he's not consistent at all. He can look like.
No, he had that one playoff series where he was hooping.
And then last season, he
couldn't hit a jumper
at all. Yeah. I have them here. I mean, obviously LeBron is LeBron, but he's getting older. He's not going to be able to average 25, 30 again. Maybe he can, but I mean,
I think he would like to pace himself.
I don't love the defense of that roster. Say you got D'Angelo. Who's there 2?
Austin Reeves.
Is it Reeves? Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. And then Rui and LeBron and AD. I mean, AD is of course nice. He's going to hold down that paint for you. He's going to come out, move his feet when he has to. But if AD's not in the paint, it's kind of clipped for that paint defense. So that's why I got him at 9.
I do think they
also got JJ Redick coaching for the first time ever. That's going to be a little bit questionable.
It'll be interesting to say the least.
Looking up their roster.
I am.
I mean, off the bench.
I was seeing if they had a backup big. I thought they signed one, but it's just Jackson Hayes.
What other point guard do they have? Jalen
Hood-Schifino.
Is he going to get minutes? I mean,
they have so many young guys. It's going to be between him, Max Christie. Yes, he is.
Okay.
But I was thinking Jared Vanderbilt. You were talking about their defense.
I forgot about Jared.
He was hurt last year. He could potentially start.
Instead of Rui?
Yeah.
Like put LeBron at 3, Jared at 4.
Yeah.
I don't hate that either. I just don't.
The offense might take a hit, but if you're the Lakers, I think you want to hang your hat on defense.
I think they're kind of interchangeable with who I have at 8, which is the Golden State Warriors.
Really?
Yep. I like their additions of Hield, Melton, and Anderson. I think those are guys that can fit into their system. Melton's going to play great D, hit some threes if you need it. Obviously, Buddy Hield cannot replace Clay's shooting, but he's going to go out there and shoot 40% like he does every single year. I expect Kuminga to have a great season.
He's going to be interesting.
He is going to be interesting. There's just so many things they can do with their roster. I think like their starting 5 could be so different. Are you starting Wiggins? Are you starting Kuminga? Who are you starting at the 5? You can start Draymond at the 5, or Kevin Looney still there, or Tracy Jackson Davis. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of different directions they can go. I think Steve Kerr is going to be mixing and matching those rotations. We
saw what he did in Team USA. Is his rotations really the best? We'll find out.
He was hating on Tatum. I do think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year.
A lot better? They won 46 games last year.
I'm talking about rankings-wise. Of course, any one of these can be 1 to 2 games apart. Like all these different standings, they're only going to be
it's going to be very close.
3-4 games apart, but I think they're kind of interchangeable with the Lakers here. So 8 and 9, I see both of them finishing.
Mm-hmm. I've got the Lakers at 8.
I think Podziemski's going to have a fantastic year. I think he's going to overplay what we expect from him. Even now that with more opportunity, we are expecting a better year from him. I think he's going to not blow those out of the water, but I think he's definitely going to be
is he going to be their third best player?
Behind who?
Behind Steph Curry and Draymond.
Is Draymond still that guy?
I mean, just for that team, he's the connector.
I mean, there's also, I think it kind of gets ambiguous.
Wiggins, we have no idea what
any one of those guys can be the number 2. It could be Draymond. It could be Kuminga. It could be Pods. It could be Wiggins. Shoot. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go. I think they're just a versatile roster. Switch everything still.
Yeah.
And to get things done. Who do you got at 8?
8, I've got the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
2 spots above the Warriors, 1 spot above the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Like you just said, a lot of these teams are interchangeable. It's going to be very close. I just gave the Lakers the edge because they do have LeBron. They do have Anthony Davis.
Stephen Curry.
I did actually like the signing of JJ Redick just because I think he can relate to the players.
That made it sound like they signed him as a player.
No. The coaching signing of JJ Redick. Maybe we'll have to suit up out there if they can't knock any shots down, but just I think he can relate to the players, and also like we saw with the podcast, he knows what he's talking about. We see him with the commentating. He understands the modern game today. So
I agree. He has a great basketball mind. It's going to take a lot of time for him to be an impactful coach. I think he does. He did sign a lot of vets around him, like on his coaching staff. Mm-hmm. I think that'll definitely help, but it'll definitely when you sign a lot of ex-head coaches and your coaching staff, they want to do things their way.
Could be an ego problem.
Yeah, an ego problem. You remember just at the beginning of the year,
Terry
Stotts left the Bucks because he did not like the way things were going with Adrian Griffin. Obviously, Adrian Griffin ended up getting fired. I mean, I would have rather we hired Terry Stotts as our head coach than Doc Rivers after that. But no, I think JJ has a lot of, we say potential as a coach, but I mean that's what the Lakers said. I do think he has a lot of potential, a great basketball mind, great guy. It seems like so. I do like JJ, but I think it'll take some time.
Yeah, obviously with the Lakers, there's a lot of pressure.
Oh,
so,
the max, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. But just the talent on their team, I have them above the Kings and the Warriors. But at number 7, I have the Phoenix Suns.
I can't agree with
I
that.
have the
That's where
Phoenix
they finished
Suns.
last year, right?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I think they were 6 or 7.
I think
Were
they
they in
were
the play-in
7.
last year?
No, it was Kings, Lakers, Warriors, and
So then they must have been 6. And the Pelicans were in the play-in.
yeah,
So they must have been 6.
isn't play-ins
7, 8, 9, 10.
It's 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you're right. They were 6.
So I've got them at 7. Obviously, their starting lineup, like we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can you bring a guy like Bradley Beal off the bench?
I mean,
You're paying him $50 million a year.
At that point, it's about politics.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't allow politics to involve in your rotations.
You say that, but in the NBA,
It's another reason why I have them at 11, though.
Oh yeah, but
terrible front office. What's
they
that
still
guy's
have
name?
Devin Booker, Matt Ishbia, or
Matt
something.
Ishbia is a bum.
He talks very stupidly, and he doesn't really seem what he knows what he's talking about. But they still have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Yeah,
and they brought in some real point guards.
Real point, or I guess Monte Morris too.
And I mean, yeah, Bradley Beal was ass last year, but also all 3 of them weren't very healthy all year. Like you remember the beginning of the year, Bradley Beal was out. He comes back. Devin Booker's out with an injury. So maybe with training camp this year and they get to play together, the beginning of the year, that offense can still be very explosive.
Oh yeah.
So their defense is obviously
terrible.
Very questionable.
Terrible.
But
big man rotation. Abysmal.
I still have them at 7.
My 7, this is where I have the Sacramento Kings.
It's pretty high for the Kings.
It is high for the Kings. I think DeMar really they're one of the best teams in transition last year. They're a really quick team. I don't know how DeMar fits into that transition offense, but I do think he very much exponentially increases their half-court offense. Sabonis, I can just think about what Harrison Barnes was doing for them. DeMar's going to do that in tenfold with some versatility.
I want to see how many threes he shoots this year.
I'd love to see him shoot
he hits the corner threes, but
if he shoots 3 threes a game, I'm happy about that.
That's a lot for DeMar.
It is a lot for DeMar, but it's really not. Just
for DeMar DeRozan,
dude, it's 2 more steps out from that midi. That
he hits the corner threes, but I don't see him taking them from the top of the key or the wing, really.
Yeah, I mean he can definitely hit a wing 3 if he just
he can hit them.
No, I think if Sabonis demands a double, now you got Keegan Murray to kick out to, Malik Monk to kick out to. Who's their other 2 that it's probably Kevin Huerter. Yes, he's underrated as
he's a great shooter.
De'Aaron Fox is always going to be the speediest player in the league. You cannot go over screens on him. He's going to continue.
Yeah.
If you go under that screen, he's going to shoot that thing again. Last year he was doing it all season, and he was phenomenal from 3. Adding DeMar to that, I think it's only going to get better, to be honest. I don't think you really lost anything in that trade. You only upgraded that position. Didn't lose anything in the offseason for the most part. Still got Davion Mitchell coming off your bench. He's a fantastic defender.
I don't think he's with the Kings anymore.
He's not?
I think he's with the Raptors.
Davion?
Yeah, I don't think he's with the Kings anymore.
I might be incorrect.
But
still got Malik Monk coming off your bench, though, shooting that thing. I got them at 7 just because I think De'Aaron Fox is going to show us why he's a top 5, pushing top 5 point guard in this league. He's up there.
He's very good.
We'll figure that out when we do our position rankings, I guess.
Yep. I like what you said about the transition game, because obviously you have Fox. He's the best transition player in the league. Yeah. And about their half-court offense, the spacing obviously is the only question in the half-court, because DeMar is not an off-ball player. He really likes the ball in his hands.
I think De'Aaron could be off-ball, though. I mean, he's not a catch-and-shoot guy either, but
no.
I just think the half court is going to look a little bit more fluid. With
the 2-man game between Fox and Sabonis, one of the best in the league. It's going to be interesting to see how DeMar plays off of that or fits into that.
If he can play off of it, I think it'll look great.
So are we going to number 6?
Yeah, number 6. We might have the same top 6. I think we do have.
Sounds like we do have the same top 6. At 6, I have the Pelicans.
Oh, okay. I got the Grizzlies.
Okay, yeah. the Pelicans, I mean, they added DeJounte Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Their starting lineup's going to be interesting as well. We were just talking about the Suns, but who do you start? I think McCollum should come off the bench.
I mean, it really depends what you want to do with Herb Jones.
I think he has to start.
I definitely think he should start at the 2.
He has
DeJounte
to.
at the 1, BI at the 3, Zion, and is it Yves Missi is the only center on that roster?
That's their center for now, so that's the only thing I'm worried about.
I mean, if they just traded for like,
but they have been saying Zion at the 5 could be he could be playing some minutes. He's 6'6",
so
but he's
start Trey Murphy at the 4.
I don't think they're gonna start Zion at the 5, but
Trey Murphy
with some lineups, yeah, Trey Murphy would be the 4. So you get extra spacing. I mean, on offense, unguardable.
Yeah,
because Zion.
I love DeJounte Murray with this roster too. Getting back into that.
Hopefully, he can bring back some of that defense.
Oh, I think. Obviously, last year he wasn't the defender that we knew he was in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that has to do with coaching.
Yeah,
and defensive. I can't think of the word, but basically buying in.
He was asked to be an offensive player last year, I think.
I think the Hawks coaching is just not that great on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Quinn Snyder's a great offensive mind. I just don't think it was a priority for them. I think coming into New Orleans, where you have people like Herb Jones, you're going to have help out there. Obviously, Zion he has the potential to be a fantastic
He looks very
defender.
Slim this offseason.
He does look very in shape compared to other years, which was a huge knock on him before.
It's really the only knock on him is his health.
His health, yeah. I think Brandon Ingram's going to come out trying to show people who he is.
This is his year. Like this is his make or break year. If he can put it together with his team this year, he can stay on the team.
If not,
if it doesn't look great, I think he's getting traded.
I mean, we thought he was going to get traded for DeJounte.
Yeah, the fact that they kept him and got DeJounte. I have him at 6, though. Who do you have at 6?
I got number 6. I have the Grizzlies.
Okay.
Just think John Morant coming back healthy. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Zach Edey, who I was not high on.
You were not a fan when they picked him in the draft, I remember.
I was shocked, actually.
You had a big overreaction.
But I actually, doing a little bit more research, I do think he's going to be a very impactful defender. And I think 7'4", you're going to make an impact on the offensive side of the ball. Offensive rebounding, getting those putbacks. A player I think of that doesn't really get a lot of run, but is actually somewhat impactful.
Yeah,
Boban Marjanovic.
Really? Is he on the Grizzlies?
No, he's not on the Grizzlies, but he has like no stamina, so he doesn't actually play at all. But like when he does play, he's surprisingly like not a terrible player.
Is that who Zach Edey reminds you of?
A little bit, yeah.
I can see that.
If he can play with stamina, play like a good 20, 25 minutes a game.
I have them a little bit higher
because
of that drafting and their signing, but you want to move to our number 5 team?
Yeah, that's good with me.
Number 5, I've got the Denver Nuggets. And I know it's a little bit low because they do have Nikola Jokic, who is a 3-time MVP, probably the best player in the league.
Easily.
But they did lose KCP, obviously. They're bringing in Christian Braun to start. He's a decent player. He can defend a little bit. He can shoot the ball, but obviously he's no KCP. Their depth is a little bit concerning. I mean, obviously Braun's going to be the starter now. They're going to have to rely on guys like Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther. I mean, I don't think their depth is I think it's a big question heading into the season. Obviously, they still have Jokic, they still have Murray, they still have MPJ, Aaron Gordon. They have their core guys, but the reason I have them 5 is because their depth, and I think the KCP signing for the Magic is going to affect them a little bit more than people think.
I still think that's a little bit crazy, though. I mean, still got Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, they do have the best player in the league. NBA.
3 absolutely top-tier role players around them. I don't know how you see them at 5. I'm curious to see who you have above them now. I mean, I know who you have above them, but see how you have them positioned.
Well, who do you have at number 5?
I mean, at number 5, that's where I have the New Orleans Pelicans.
It's a high ranking for the Pelicans. I do like them, of course.
I think Zion's finally going to make his statement, coming to the league healthy and in shape for once.
Yeah, he's looked very slim.
I definitely think BI is going to need to prove that he belongs with this roster and that he can fit in with everybody. I think that'll be one of like his
It's one of the big questions coming into the season.
Exactly.
Is BI gonna show that he can play with this team and be the 1A 1B? Usually the number 2 guy, but
I mean, I think CJ McCollum's going to be coming off the bench for them. That's a great sixth man to have. Trey Murphy.
I hope he comes off the bench.
Obviously, I think Herb Jones is going to start at the 2. He should.
Yeah.
Trey Murphy's coming off the bench as well. You said Zion could play some 5. I think that's interesting.
Well, with they're starting the rookie Yves Missy. I mean, who really knows what he's gonna do? You know,
yeah, facts,
as a rookie center, I think Zion could get a lot of minutes at the 5. Because think of this lineup when you have DeJounte, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Bi, and Zion. That offensive output, I think it's just unguardable with that spacing you have out there. So it's gonna be really cool to see what they do with Zion at the 5 this year.
Honestly, do you want to start off with your number 4?
At number 4, I have the Dallas Mavericks.
Did you talk about your 5?
The Nuggets, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Number 4, I've got the Mavericks, who obviously they were in the finals last year, and they just brought in Klay Thompson, of course.
Of course.
I
have the Mavericks here at 4 as well.
Okay.
So I saw a lot of lists say that they're going to have them higher. Like I was looking at some other people's predictions. A lot of people had them 1, and surprised me.
I think it's just a lot of Luka.
Oh, no doubt.
But I have them number 4 just because their defense it's a big question. I mean, you lost Derrick Jones Jr., who was obviously your best defender.
Easily.
And you brought in Najee Marshall, who's a good signing. He's a good replacement for him, but he's not starting.
I mean,
maybe he will start at the 4.
I would love to see that.
Just because of the defense. And bring PJ Washington off the bench. Honestly, I think that'd be a good move, but their offense obviously is their greatest weapon. You have Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Klay Thompson out there. That shooting and spacing and ability to get to the basket with Luka and Kyrie.
I gotta say
it's gonna be lovely to see.
I saw Mark Cuban in an interview say that Klay Thompson's just gonna be sitting in the corner, catch and shoot. Just a corner center. I mean, basically where they had DJ.
I mean, he would be the best corner sitter in the league.
But dude, Klay is a movement shooter. He's always
they got to bring him off screens.
They have to, and it doesn't sound like they're gonna. I mean, we've seen Jason Kidd all season last year and in the playoffs specifically only really shoot corner threes. He didn't like anything above the break. Not that I think Klay isn't gonna make those. I just think he thrives more in movement shooting, coming off screens.
Obviously, their 99% of their offense is going to be Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving with the ball in their hands.
But then why is Klay there?
I do think Klay should come off the screens and get some looks to get him going, though.
I got to say, Klay's kind of cooked on defense. He's
up there in age.
He's not 2016 Klay anymore. His knees are pretty cooked. Definitely don't know if he's going to provide much on that side of the ball, and I mean, I'm hoping that he can show us a little something, but the last few years of Klay has not looked like himself. I don't know how much he really is going to bring to that team. And honestly, I would have rather had DJJ here still instead.
Really?
Yeah.
Over the offensive output that they can, because what they did was they sagged off of Derrick Jones. You can't do that with Klay Thompson out there because he will knock down the open 3.
I guess we'll have to see. I mean,
at the end of the day, it is Klay Thompson. You still have to respect his shot.
They're going to respect it, but I don't know how efficient he's really going to be out there, to be honest, in that offense. I mean, especially.
I think he'll be more efficient in this offense than he was last year because, I mean, Klay Thompson, he does like to take the contested threes.
We both have them at 4, though.
Yeah, we both have them at 4. But Klay Thompson, we do know he likes to take the contested threes and some shots that he really shouldn't take. I think with the Mavericks, he'll take less of those just because you have Luka playmaking for him and getting to the rim, and same with Kyrie, but I think he'll get a lot of more open looks.
Definitely. I know what you're saying, but nobody really has the same gravity as Steph Curry. So
of course,
talking about open looks, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's we both have them at 4.
Yeah.
So we both kind of have the same like opinion of where they're going to end up, but I guess we just have different opinions about how Klay Thompson's going to fit in.
Yeah.
But at number 3, that's where I had the Nuggets.
Okay.
Obviously, the KCP signing with the Magic hurts a lot, but I believe in those young guys like Christian Braun and Peyton Watson to fill in where they need to. I think they're going to rely a little bit more on Jamal Murray and MPJ and Aaron Gordon, of course. I mean,
the core 4 guys.
Those are easily top tier role players in this league. I don't see how you can even get much better around Jokic.
No, I mean they're perfect.
It's just the bench is definitely suspect, but I definitely think the best player in the league is still going to carry. So,
yeah, I mean I have at 3. It's a team that fell out last year because of injuries. I think they're going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league. I've got the Memphis Grizzlies.
It's a little bit.
It's very high for the Grizzlies, number 3. But I remember when Ja wasn't injured, and they were one of the best teams in the league. Even when Ja was out, they're just their coaching alone, they got them to the play-in team. Last year, obviously, everybody was injured. Ja was out, Bane was out for a while. I think Jaren was even hurt a little bit. But I think that also gave opportunity to some of the young guys like Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson.
Big fan of both those guys, I gotta say.
So they're going to be more ready coming into this season to play some of the roles that the Grizzlies are going to need them to play off the bench.
All right.
But the reason I have them so high is because obviously John Morant is one of the most electrifying players in the league.
Okay.
He's going to be one of the best point guards. He just wills his team to victory. But that's not even the main reason. The main reason is their defense. You draft a guy like Zach Edey to be the big guy down low.
Okay.
And to protect the paint, a 7'4" monster. And you also have a defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson. So you have Zach Edey in the paint, and you have Jaren Jackson coming in, roaming, blocking the shots. That's just a perfect role for him. That's when he won defensive player of the year, was when he was in that role. And yeah, like you just mentioned, it's not even just their paint defense, but they also have a guy like Marcus Smart to lock up the main ball handlers.
Facts. And I do see Jaren Jackson playing some 5 a little bit too this year.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have to.
Zach Edey can't play that whole game, big body like that. He's gonna get tired out there.
Yeah.
Maybe Brandon Clark will play some 5. I mean, he's not a terrible defender either. A paint defender.
No, he's a smart guy. I'd rather have Jaren at the 5 than him at the 4.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. But I think they're gonna play around with the rotations a little bit. I
think they do need is they do have Ja and Bane, but maybe one other guy off the bench who can put the ball in the basket.
That's facts. I'm trying to think of who they really have on that bench. They still have Luke Kennard.
Yeah, Luke Kennard's a good shooter.
Catching shooters in the league still.
Yeah.
They still have Gigi Jackson. He can shoot that pill. I think he
might be
able to create for himself sometime in the next few years.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I don't have them so high is I think Ja's still going to take I know he's a beast, but coming off an injury, I don't think he's going to get worse. I just think it's going to maybe take him 20 games to get back into his rhythm.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd love to see him come out and hoop. I like Ja.
I mean, we saw last year after that suspension, I think his first game back, he had a game winner.
Well, I mean, a suspension's a little bit different than an injury.
It is. But it sounds like we have the same top 2 teams.
It does sound like we have the same top 2 teams.
I've got the Timberwolves at 2.
The same order.
Yeah, you got Timberwolves at 2?
Of course, I got the Timberwolves at 2. I'm expecting a statement from Cat. I'm hoping he can really prove that he is a real number 2 in this league.
Are you expecting it or are you hoping?
You're right. I'm hoping for it more. Okay. I mean, I think he showed that in the playoffs he can defend a little bit. He's really got to work on staying out of foul trouble because if you get 2 fouls in the first quarter, that puts a lot of pressure on your defense, puts a lot of pressure on your offense too.
Puts a lot of pressure on Ant to get all the baskets.
Exactly. And I hope that bringing in Rob Dillingham kind of helps out with that a little bit.
I love that trade.
Eases that pain. I mean, Mike Conley is a great facilitator, but it's going to be tough to get all those buckets at 40.
Mike Conley's the perfect starter for that team. Facilitate the offense, get the guys in their spots. Oh yeah, he can. He's a smart team defender, off-ball defender. I like Rob though because last year they didn't have a guy like that when Ant went to the bench.
Mm-hmm.
They were really they were going through kind of Kyle Anderson was trying to make the plays for them off the bench,
And I mean,
which he was decent at it,
yeah.
but he was kind of just like a bigger version of Mike Conley, just facilitating, not really looking for a shot. That's why I like the Rob Dillingham move. He's going to come off the bench and he's going to be looking to score.
Facts. And I do think the regular season defense is still going to be elite.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Rudy is obviously still a top-tier paint protector.
Yeah, I mean, there's conversations with him every year about.
Obviously, when it comes to the playoffs, things are a little bit different. They're gonna kind of
they're gonna try to match up hunt.
Exactly, they're gonna get you and they're gonna get Rudy in situations where he's uncomfortable and get him out of the paint, drag him out there to the perimeter, and hit a step back game winner on him. But
I still don't think they should have allowed that switch, but. It is what it is.
You saw it. If you've seen the clip.
Jaden McDaniels was pissed.
I do think the regular season defense is going to be elite.
They're going to be one of the best defenses.
Obviously, they still have Ant, who is elite defender. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, he's a great sixth man for them too. I mean, last year he can shoot that pill too. I mean, his release is a little bit funny, but he was hitting threes in the playoffs for them.
Jaden McDaniels, of course.
And of course, Rudy Gobert.
Very Timberwolves. Very great team.
Very great team.
There's a reason we have them number 2.
Except, I don't know if they can compete with who our number 1 is.
The OKC Thunder.
Yeah. I'm going to say it right off the bat. This is going to be a Shea MVP year.
You're calling it.
I'm calling it. The way he can get to the basket at ease, get into that bag, and execute. I mean, he makes it look so easy. He's got counters to his counters to his counters. I mean,
you can't guard him.
Yeah, I was watching some Shea film. It's beautiful the way he gets into the paint and he can hop around, dance around 2 defenders, and still get that bucket with ease.
Yeah, I mean, there's a clear reason they're the number 1 team. I mean, we saw what they did last year, and they've only gotten better. They picked up a perimeter defender in Caruso.
Ridiculous.
So they have Caruso and Lou Dort, so you can guard the wings and the guards. Obviously, Chet Holmgren's going to get better as a defender. They picked up a backup big in Isaiah Hartenstein.
He's a shot blocker, too.
He can do everything. I mean, you can play him and Chet together sometimes. You need a big lineup. That was their problem last year was their size, you know?
Facts.
J-Dub starting at the 4. I mean, he's not the biggest, but if you can have those lineups where you can have J-Dub at the 3, Chet at the 4, Hartenstein at the 5,
if
you're facing a big lineup, that's why I think they're the number 1 team.
I think that would be a great lineup against the team we were just talking about. The
Timberwolves. Yeah, the 2 bigs.
The 2 bigs down there.
They can really do everything.
I mean, I definitely think Chet's going to take another step as a defender. He might be like a top 3 center in defense right now. I mean, not going into next year, by the end of
next year, I can see that.
I think he's just elite all around. How he can move his feet, how he can. The crazy thing is, if it wasn't Wemby, if there's no Wemby, we're looking at Chet as like the best.
He's the unicorn.
Yeah, he's the unicorn. But I mean, of course, Victor Wembanyama can do what Chet can do, like times 3. It's kind of ridiculous. But I'm hoping that Chet can look like his jump shot can look like how it was in the first half of last season. He was shooting that thing, and he fell off a little bit in the second half. But I'm hoping he can look like that again consistently for a whole year. And I think J-Dub's easily like one of the most efficient and impactful 2-mans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that he's like 20 years old.
His efficiency and just his the way he plays basketball. It's gonna be interesting to see is he gonna take a leap or is he just gonna play the same role he did last year and
I wouldn't be mad.
Just like maybe average 1 or 2 more points.
I think taking Josh Giddey away. It's
going
to help him a lot.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they got Alex Caruso, like a top 3 perimeter defender in the league, for the biggest question on their roster.
Yeah, without giving up a pick, but let's not talk about that.
The Bulls got finessed, but
great move for the Thunder. The starting lineup of Caruso is going to start.
I agree.
Lou Dort, J-Dub, and Chet with Shea out there.
It's not fair.
Yeah, they could win 60-plus games, I think.
60, maybe 65.
That's a lot of games, especially in this tough league West, that we're in now. But
I don't know. I mean, they might beat up on all those weak ass teams. I don't see them losing a game to the Clippers.
No, they're they're not. They're not going to be losing to any of those play-in teams like the Rockets. But
Hey, chill.
no, there's a.
So you agree that they're a play-in team then? Because
no, I've got them 11.
I'm still a little bit salty. You cut them out of the play-in. I think you're sleeping on that young roster out there. I think
you're
sleeping on them.
It's a hotter take to say that the Suns are going to miss the playoffs than the Rockets.
I'm okay
We've seen the Suns win almost 50 games last year with a non-healthy roster. The Rockets they're still figuring out everything with their team. So
I mean,
with their young roster,
I think we did not.
They're still a year away from the playoffs. I think
us not re-signing Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun on extensions when you saw every other rookie get that bag, I think that's only going to make them more hungry to an already hungry team out there led by a hungry coach.
It could make them more hungry, but it could also piss them off a little bit.
I'm cool with that.
Where's my damn
piss
money?
Them off. I think
with the Rockets in the next 1 or 2 years, Sengun or Jalen Green won't be on the roster.
I think you're hating. I think you're trying to split them up like they tried to split up what's his name? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Completely different.
It is different, but I think it's
well, one of them's gonna have to go, or Amen Thompson's gonna have to go. He's gonna come off the bench his whole career. You just drafted Reed Shepherd, number 3.
He's more of a 3.
Reed Shepard's definitely a starter.
He's more of a 3. Yeah, I agree with you. Reed Shepherd's gonna be our starting point guard next season when we don't accept Fred VanVleet's player option. But Amen has shown me he's more of a wing. I thought he was going to be.
You think he's going to be like a point forward kind of?
Yeah, his ball handling is just not there for a point guard. He's unless he
not yet
vastly improves within the next 2 years. I think that's Reed Shepherd's spot. Maybe Jalen Green doesn't stick around. I mean, I'd hope he does. I don't know if he gets a max contract from us. If someone like the Nets offers him
someone's
going to
offer him a max contract.
I don't know. He's stock.
Either he gets it from the Rockets or he gets it from another team.
I love Jalen Green. I want him to get that
with a young player,
but he has to prove it this
that
year.
Potential.
I think he knows that.
We saw Levine get a max contract from the Kings. That's why the Bulls had to give him one.
Different time.
But I think Jalen Green, he's a much more like potential player. Like people look at him with higher potential than they did Levine back in the day. I think
with the new CBA rules, man, they're not going to be handing out max contracts like candy like they were.
You don't think so?
I mean, I hope not.
You hope not because you want to keep him.
Yeah, if he proves he's a max contract player, I would love to have him back. But if he's out there demanding a max contract player or a max contract and not proving it on the court, I hope the Rockets don't offer it because I want us to succeed long term. And Jalen Green's my favorite player right now to watch. I think he's the most exciting player on the Rockets. I mean, obviously Sengun is better.
I think the Rockets are one of those teams. They're gonna look to try to trade for someone big in the next couple of years.
I hope not. I want us.
You have so much young talent on this roster.
I know. Maybe
and you have a coach that wants to compete.
I think the bigger question is, can Cam Whitmore be that scorer for us? Because maybe we don't need Jalen Green around if we have Cam Whitmore, and he was uber efficient in like 18 minutes a game, averaging 12 points.
Yeah, no,
Cam Whitmore is not a great passer. I think Jalen Green's an underrated passer, and he's an underrated defender. But Cam Whitmore has a lot of tools to do the things
he puts the ball in the basket.
He could be a great defender too, though. I mean, he has the tools to be a fantastic defender. Maybe he can play too. I mean, he's only like 6'5".
Like
he can play 2 through 4.
The Rockets have so many players right now that you want to see have minutes.
Bro, I went into 2K. I made a little rotation up. If we don't play guys like Jock Landale and Aaron Holiday, all those guys can get a good 20 minutes.
I don't think they'll be in the rotation.
Like Reed Shepherd, I think will play 20 minutes a game this year.
I think he has to.
I think he will.
With the level of talent that he has.
I agree that you feel this way because you were not feeling Reed Shepherd at first, buddy. I was high on him before I knew the Rockets were going to take him. I mean, I'm so glad he felt. And I'm going to say fell to us because Zachary Rizichet ain't it. And Sarr has not shown me anything on the offensive side of the ball. Reed Shepherd has shown me both, and he can play make.
No, Reed Shepherd's, I think he was the best player coming out of the draft, NBA ready right now. It's Reed Shepherd. And he has potential, of course. Definitely not the highest ceiling. Because what's his ceiling?
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, okay. He's big Rockets bias guy here.
How is he not, though? How is that not a ceiling?
Donovan Mitchell is not a ceiling, but
why not?
not going to talk about this right now.
Let me not say
we can do top young players.
What about
coming
like
into the
Dame
season
or something,
soon.
bro? Like
Dame?
Not Dame, but like
he's not going to
like
be anywhere close to Dame.
He's like a combination between them.
He could be like Austin Reeves, but better.
Fuck? He's not Austin Reeves. You're a hater.
I said,
He's
but better.
Way better than Austin Reeves, dude.
At his ceiling,
okay.
He's like a better
I'm bugging
Austin
with
Reeves.
Dame and like Donovan Mitchell, but like imagine just a lower tier of that. Like,
I guess we'll see. I mean, you have a higher ceiling than I think he can be. Hey. Obviously, he's a great NBA player right now.
We talked enough about the Rockets.
He can get to the rim. Yeah, we talked enough about the Rockets. It's not a Rockets episode. I have them 11.
I got them 10. I mean, I do think they can be better than that, though. I think some of those old teams are a little bit overrated now.
But I think our consensus is that the OKC Thunder is the best team.
Oh, no, absolutely
in the West and probably in the league, right?
I mean, you're low. You're not that high in the Celtics. I still am.
I think my finals
team walked the league.
My prediction will be the Sixers versus the Thunder.
Dog walked the league last year, and
they didn't face anybody healthy.
I don't care.
Not a single team.
The Mavericks,
besides the finals, did they face a healthy team?
They weren't healthy either. It doesn't matter who they faced. They made it look easy.
I'm saying, yeah, they took care of business. I respect the Celtics. I'll say that.
Right. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah. We'll get that into the next episode. The next episode, we're going to do our position rankings coming into the season.
I think, did we agree on, we're going to do, instead of like point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, like all the positions, we're just going to do guards,
forwards, and centers.
We're going to do a little bit more, like maybe 15 or 20 for the guards and forwards, and then centers, we're going to stick with 10.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yep. Go follow our TikTok, Positionless Podcast. I'll say it again.
Facts.
Link will be in the description. Thanks for tuning into episode 2 of our Western Conference rankings.
All right. Peace out.